Hello, and welcome to another episode of the You Are Not Alone podcast. My name is Debbie Gold, and I'm here with my co-host and son, Greg, and we are so glad that you're here with us. Each week on this show, we will talk about informative issues that will make you think and help you grow. It is our wish that you will find hope, encouragement, and a little bit of Jesus in every episode. Hey, y'all, and welcome back. Today, we are going to be talking about the border crisis. So much going on with that these days. And do you know, Greg, that 8 in 10 U.S. Americans say the government is doing a very bad or somewhat bad job dealing with the large number of immigrants coming into the United States? That's 80%. Do you realize that?
Doesn't surprise me, yeah.
Yeah. So make sure to stick around, everyone, because by the end of our show, you will have lots of information that will help you decide where you stand on one of the most hottest topics of today. And that's the border crisis or illegal immigration.
Right.
So I want to just follow that up with in November, and I don't know if our listeners are aware or not, because we do focus on the Gen Z, age group. But in November of this year, in 2024, that's going to be our next presidential election, and our next president will be elected, and that's less than 8 months away, my friends. So, two of the most important issues to Americans right now, our economy and illegal immigration. So, big year coming up for voting.
Yeah, very important.
And that's why we're doing this episode, is to help educate you and inform and get you to start thinking about this stuff, because it's coming down the line.
Yeah, and it's important. So
yeah. So let's define illegal immigrant, and then we're going to talk about some facts, and then we're going to talk about the problems that we're facing today as a country because of what is going on with our border. So an illegal immigrant is someone who enters the U.S. without inspection or has come to the U.S. with a valid visa that has now expired. So like it could be a student that came across with a visa, and they didn't actually take the course that they were going to take, and then they get expired, or it's no longer valid.
Right.
Or someone comes with a visa, but they don't do what they have to do to keep it up.
Or someone comes with nothing at all.
Which is a lot of what's going on today. So just some facts about this and a little history. Back in January of 2017, our President Trump, he signed an executive order with the purpose of ensuring public safety within the borders of the U.S. And specifically, his intent was to secure the borders, like with a wall, and to improve immigration enforcement. So, his intentions were good, and he really actually took action on that. He started building the wall, and he put things in place for
immigration checkpoints. Yeah,
checkpoints and enforcing all that. So that was all halted in January 20, 2021. What happened on that day? January 20th, 2021.
Well, Biden took office.
Yeah, Biden took office, exactly.
Didn't that day he did 94 executive actions or something like that?
He did.
The border.
Yeah, he did a lot of executive actions, which is typical, to be fair.
Yeah.
Presidents do that because they want it to roll their way.
But he reversed exactly what Trump was doing, like almost immediately.
Yeah.
Which is
exactly.
Yeah.
So let me read a release from the White House on that particular day, January 20th, 2021. President Biden sends immigration bill to Congress as part of his commitment to modernize our immigration system. And it goes on to say, the U.S. Citizen Act of 2021 establishes a new system to responsibly manage and secure our border, keep our families and our communities safe, and to better manage migration across the hemisphere.
I don't feel like he's done a good job of that.
Yeah. I mean, those intentions sound...
They sound good, right?
Right. Because he wants to provide pathways to citizenship.
Well, I mean,
And he wants to... I get that. I love that.
With politicians, you can talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk, you know?
Of course. But what he was saying, I want people to come into our country. Great.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
We want to prioritize, what he said, the second thing was prioritize smart border controls. So he wanted to like up the, how things work better electronically. Mm-hmm. Be smart. What do you call that? You know what I'm talking about. Just
say it again.
Better technology.
Yeah.
For managing the borders. And then address root causes of migration. Why are people wanting to come here? We know it's a better world here, or it's better. People want to come to the United States. So what are the problems at home, and how can we maybe effectively fix that or help with that? So I think those were his
intentions or whatever.
Yeah, and then
or that's what he said he was going to do.
Yeah, and that sounded really well and really good. However, I think there was no execution or lack of execution. Is probably what I feel as a citizen and watching everything that's going on.
Oh, it's been neglected terribly, I gotta say.
Yeah.
So I mean, illegal immigration is not new now. So it's been going on for years, but it started increasing in March 2021. In 2023, it ended with the highest migrant encounter on record, reaching, holy cow, 249,735 people a month at the U.S.-Mexico border in Eagle Pass.
Yes. That was at the end.
That's the end, yeah.
Of 2023.
Yeah, so the breakdown with that would be unoccupied minors, which is either, 5% of the population, or 12,456 unoccupied minors.
Okay, let's stop. I want to think about that.
That's half...
As a mother.
That's half an NBA stadium full of kids.
Yes.
For context.
And they're coming across every month.
NFL stadium.
Every month.
Unoccupied.
By themselves.
Yeah, they don't know where to go. They don't know who to trust. They don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's ridiculous.
How scary is that?
Yeah.
I don't care if you're 5.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Or 3, or a sister that's 8 carrying a sibling that's 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. Or if you're 14 or 15, that is scary.
And if you're a girl too, that's very scary.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who you're going to meet there. You don't know who you're going to see, what you're going to go through.
Or along the way, yeah.
Yeah, it's terrifying to think about. And then families, 41%, or 101,710 families. That is a lot of families. And, not everyone makes it, too. So, some family members pass away on the journey, or they drown,
They drown, we're Texas, across, right?
Yeah.
To coming across the Rio Grande. Mm-hmm. And people drowned.
Many people have drowned, yeah. Texas DPS, they, flush out bodies sometimes from the Rio Grande because of all these people coming through. So, yeah. It's bad. And then single adults.
This is the highest percentage.
This is scary. 54%, or 135,569 single adults coming over.
So these are the numbers at the end of 2023, folks, which is not so far away.
That makes 735,000 people a month.
Yeah, in December that were coming into our country. Mm-hmm. Or, across the U.S.-Mexico border, basically into Texas, I have to say.
In 1 year, if we keep that number...
you are good.
Yeah. So
if we keep up with that?
If we keep up with that number, in 1 year, the amount of migrants that'll come into the U.S. border, 2,996,820,000 migrants. Now,
in a year.
We already have,
2 million. Oh, almost 3 million.
No, it was 290. Yes, about 3 million. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We already have our own problems here, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
We already have our own problems here. So that is a lot of people. So.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
And keep listening, because we are going to talk, what are those people doing?
Yeah.
And who's supporting those people? And yeah, so there's a lot more here.
Right. So.
Yeah.
President Biden's policies may have like seemed well intended, like you were saying. It sounded good at the start, but clearly the execution and putting plans in place, it's not working at all. And what are the problems that these migrants are facing? Coming over here on the journey, they're just facing.
Right, and we've identified 6, and there could be more. And this is just what you and I see together.
There's like the small breakdown. Yeah. So I mean, people are dying on the trip. Lack of food. People aren't prepared. Heat, exhaustion.
They don't have the right clothing for those travels.
Yeah.
Where are the people coming from? Should we talk about that? That's another big issue.
Oh.
So they start, we think Mexico, but no. Mm-hmm. That's a start. They come from Mexico, but a lot of countries have gone, oh, we want to go too.
Yeah, it's...
There's Honduras. Well, so below Mexico, we've got the Northern Triangle, which is the Honduras. We've got Guatemala and then El Salvador.
Oh, we also got Haiti. We got Nicaragua. We got Venezuela. And we have Cuba.
And China. China's another big one.
China is actually huge right now. There's a lot of Chinese middle-aged males, military-age males coming over the border, and that's very alarming. So... but yeah, a lot of these people are coming from third world countries and they don't have the best education over there, right? And so when they're coming over here, they don't know what to do. Let's say you get, snake bites. That can kill you on the trip over here. Drowning. I mean, there's so many
Some people don't know how to swim.
No, that too.
I've seen that on the news.
That is so true. Good point. Yeah. You fall in the Rio Grande and you start freaking out and you start drowning. And you have a backpack on with like all your clothes and stuff. You can't get your backpack on. You start drowning. So it's dangerous.
I think what I'm hearing is people, they're not prepared for this trip. They see the end goal, which an end goal is amazing, but you have got to prepare. Yes. You've got to be prepared to make that journey, and
it's really dangerous overall.
I think it's very dangerous, and I don't feel that they should be encouraged to come under those circumstances. But I guess that's an opinion on mine. Yeah,
like we already said, minors travel alone. Yeah. I mean, 5% out of that, 200,000 a month or whatever. Right. I mean, there's so many risks of what could happen, what could go wrong.
Women getting raped on the way.
Yeah. I mean, you could get grabbed by some guys and, you could, get into a trafficking ring without you even knowing what's happening.
So, you hear a lot about the cartels doing that or that, and they have, I don't even want to go there, but then there could be, other just men along the journey that take advantage of women. It's just not a safe thing to do.
It's very dangerous. So.
And children being sex trafficked, like.
That too, yeah.
I don't even know how that all works. I just know the gangs and all of that they just really take advantage. They don't care about anybody but themselves and making $1. Yeah.
It's organized crime, so yeah.
And then we've talked about drugs being smuggled in. We've had 2 episodes on fentanyl, the latest being fentanyl and coming across the border and being mixed with tranq, which is the horse tranquilizer.
Yeah. Most people want to say, oh, fentanyl isn't really coming over the southern border.
MG.
Ignore your feelings. Look at the facts. It is happening in record numbers. These people aren't being checked at the border, The people that, run from the state troopers or DPS or the rangers or whatever, they might have drugs on them, They have ways of getting these drugs into, America or whatever they do because they're drug smugglers. That's their job. So they've gotten good at it. So they can put it in tires, backpacks, anything. So, with how potent fentanyl it is, I mean, just that much, that could kill 200,000 people.
It doesn't take much to
be lethal. Yeah.
And I'm sure but at this point, a lot of our listeners have heard the stories of the moms, crying. They lost their child to fentanyl. They weren't a drug taker and a drug user, but they just did this one time because they were stressed out about a test and they got something online and, the whole thing just took their lives, and it changed the world of not only the child but the family
And now they're
and the
pissed.
friends and everyone around them.
Oh,
these decisions don't affect just one person.
It's a tsunami of changes and effects that it can have. So, those stories are heartbreaking to hear. So.
Yeah, they are. They for sure are.
And the moms, sometimes they get angry because this is preventable. This could be preventable. I mean, we could use a lot of the money that we're, giving on migrants and all that, and we could, use for drug programs, for education about fentanyl and, one pill kills and all that. I mean, our Texas Governor Greg Abbott, he signed a bill, one pill kills, where it was fentanyl dealers now, they're being charged with like poisoning or something, which is like attempted murder, basically.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so they're going to be charged with like attempted murder charges if they get caught. So yeah, they're upping the punishment for that. So that's good. I
have to say, I'm really proud of our governor. I mean, we are a border state, so we are hugely impacted by this issue.
He's held his ground.
He has. He doesn't feel supported. He feels like he's got immigrants coming in and overtaking, and we don't know where to take it. He's the one that started. Let's put them on buses and send them to New York or Chicago or wherever. Yeah. He's like, we got to do something. So I hope you guys can appreciate, if you're not from Texas, which I know a lot of our listeners aren't, and if you're not from a border state, that you can appreciate the dire situation and having a governor that's really taking some action on trying to make it different and to help protect us as citizens in our state. And so we're, pretty proud of him for all the actions. And what's the latest? You want to talk about that? This is so big with the U.S. Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah, yesterday. So the Supreme Court overruled...
it was...
Here we go.
Texas didn't have... Our hands were tied. We didn't have the ability
to enforce the laws that we have in place, which is pretty stupid. So we're allowed to enforce SB 4, allowing state police to arrest and deport illegal aliens.
Yeah. 7
of the 9 justices sided with Texas over the Biden administration.
So basically, we have the control to arrest someone that's
entered our country illegally.
Right. And they can arrest them, they can detain them, or they can deport them.
So, simplified down, we can arrest someone who now breaks the law, correct?
Yes, basically. Yes.
How did we get to this?
I know, right.
This is so out of hand.
How do we have to have the Supreme Court say it's okay to do that?
It's okay to enforce...
to arrest. Arrest and
yeah.
enforce.
Yeah. The law, that's in the Constitution, you break the law, usually you go to jail or you get arrested, some sort of punishment. But these guys, don't worry about them.
Yeah, so it applies to us here, like us citizens, but it doesn't apply to people that come into the country illegally.
Yeah.
And that's just not right. Okay, I don't care, whatever. No, it's just not right. So anyway,
it's not a political thing at this point. No, it's really just a humanitarian issue.
It is. It's a moral and humanitarian issue. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's much bigger than that. So.
Yeah. And so the other problem too with what we were talking about, we ended up with drugs, but the other is criminals being allowed in. Mm-hmm. And so what's our latest? Not latest. I'm sure it's not the latest. But do you want to talk about Laken Riley?
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm sure some of you know about her and what happened to her.
Yeah, she was a 22-year-old college student, Laken Riley. She was murdered by an illegal alien who crossed the border under Biden. This guy basically, let me see.
Yeah, she was a University of Georgia nursing student.
I'm sorry,
just
but
on a jog.
She was on a jog, and he came up to her and just started beating her to death and disfigured her skull. And she was 22 years old, and this guy was from Venezuela, and he was arrested earlier in 2023 on a sex crime against a minor, and the judge let him back out somehow.
Or didn't do anything. Somehow.
So we let this guy back out on our streets, and now a mother is grieving her young daughter, who was a nursing student.
And again, it goes back to...
Kayla Hamilton is another girl that was killed by an illegal immigrant. And Elizabeth Medina was another girl that was killed by an immigrant. She was a high schooler, so... It's just going up.
You have so much passion behind this, I can tell.
It's ridiculous because, I mean, we're putting so much money into these people, and what about the 4 NYPD officers that were brutally attacked in the street? Last week, another cop was attacked by a machete in Times Square.
Yeah.
A machete.
Yeah. And
It's scary.
It's very scary, and
we have third world criminals coming over here and acting like criminals and doing third world activities.
And there's no consequence.
There's no consequence. They get let out on bond or whatever, and then they just go back to their hotel. I mean, they're getting cell phones. They're getting, hotel rooms and stuff. Meanwhile, we have a veteran crisis in our country. We still have a shitload of homeless people in our country. We're giving money to all the wrong issues. So it sucks.
Right. So, I kind of want to just wrap this up, Greg. I was doing some research, and I know people coming into this country has been going on for years and years and years. And that's how we've become our country, the melting pot,
I'm
right?
an immigrant. You're an immigrant, probably. Yeah.
Right. Greg, you're an immigrant. Well, let's explain that.
Yeah.
That we said that. So we always like to share a little bit of our lives and our our lives and our things that are going on in our podcast. But yeah, so
holy cow, I am an immigrant.
You are an immigrant.
That's cool.
So we adopted Greg from Russia when he was a baby in 2003. So,
yeah.
But we had, to put it in perspective, we jumped through hoops and did so much paperwork, and we paid money, and we did all these things to get Greg
the right way.
The right way.
Not to mention the travel fees and how long were those flights?
Oh, it was 24 hours.
Oh my god.
We had 2 trips, but the whole adoption process was, I'm just going to throw the number out because I want you to realize it was $40,000.
Yeah.
From agency fees to fees that we gave to Russia, money we gave to Russia for you. And
it was a whole process.
It was a whole process. A lovely process.
But a stressful process. It
was stressful.
Yeah.
But we did it.
The right way.
Because we did it the right way. And we didn't think of doing it. We weren't going to go over there and steal a baby, or do something illegal. We just thought we're doing it the right way. But so good example, right? You just do it the right way.
And it even continued even after I was in the United States, right? That way I was a complete U.S. citizen. That way I didn't have the Russia and the U.S.
Right. We readopted you in the state of Texas so that you would have a Texas birth certificate.
There we go. Yeah.
So that you wouldn't have a Russian birth certificate. So that when you had to go to college or you applied for a driver's license, there would be no question about your validity.
Okay.
Of you. So we even did that after the fact. We paid a little more extra money. We met with an attorney in San Antonio, and it was a big celebration day, and we had the judge at the court approve it, and we have picture. You might remember you were sitting on the lap of the judge, and you had the gavel. What do they call it? Gavel.
The gavel. Yeah.
And you got to bang it on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. you were probably 5 or 6.
I think I might.
When we got to that point to revalid, you already ours.
Yeah.
We just wanted you to have the paperwork to
prove
show it here in the U.S.
There we go. Yeah. So,
but you had
to go through hell and back to get me. So,
we did.
Yeah.
And worth it. Worth every penny and every second.
So immigration's always been, like you were saying though.
Yeah, it's fine to do it. I want people to come here. I want them to have the goodness of this. But do it the right way.
Right, yeah.
And we need our leaders to set that up.
This
for
one
people.
lady being interviewed, she was like, "Come in the front door. Don't come in through my windows or my back door. Come in the right way." So yeah, and present to us that you're willing to work, you're willing to make something out of nothing, and you're a hard worker, and you have values,
Because don't we do that as Americans?
We try, yeah. I mean, we
have values.
We have to provide for ourselves.
We show that we're going to make something out of nothing. You're a college student right now. You are going to make something out of nothing. You're determined. You're a hard worker, and that is how you've been brought up. You're going to become something that you want to become.
But if we show people that they can just be dependent on the taxpayer dollars coming in, that's no motivation to do anything besides lay around and steal. And I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. So it kind of reminds me of, well, I'm thinking about this whole thing. So what's important to me, and this is what I want our listeners to think about. What do you think about this issue? We're trying to educate you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying close it off. But anyways, I am concerned about our public safety in this day and age. What happened? We're letting criminals in here. We're letting drugs in here, and that's not safe for our people.
They caught a suspected terrorist 4 days ago at the border, so that's good.
Yeah.
They caught him at least.
Yeah, exactly.
But what about the ones that weren't caught, What about the ones that are blending into all these other immigrants actually coming here for a better life or something?
Right.
So.
But, there's also things like I said, those are kind of important to me. I don't want disease. I don't want people coming over bringing COVID or some other disease that we don't even have here.
Mm-hmm.
I think there should be some controls around that. But there's also things like, how are these people going to support themselves when they get here?
How are we going to support these people?
Well, but that's the thing. Yes, that's what it boils down to, because when you come into our country, you have to be legal.
Yeah.
And when you get a job, employers can't hire you unless you have proper documentation that you are a legal citizen.
Yeah.
And it's an I-9 that you have to prove. You have to show I have an ID or I have a valid passport, or
the I-9 form is used to verify the identity and the employment authorization of individuals hired for employment in the United States. So it's basically, showing that you're a U.S. citizen, or you're authorized to work in the U.S.
Right.
So if you're an illegal immigrant, how are you going to work like that?
Yeah, employers can't hire you.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that telling me? So people are coming here, they're working for cash,
Mm-hmm.
or they're getting aid from the government, or they're getting a place to stay at a hotel, or
they're working black market jobs, or weird jobs, or
Right. And so that none of that is safe, or it's
What about all these other people that are coming over here and getting jobs and taking the money away from the actual Americans that are out of jobs? Because we know there are a lot of people out of jobs right now, right? Who's going to fill those positions with jobs that nobody wants? So, let's say in 2 years, right? We have 4 million plus people that came into the border since 2024. It's now 2026. If we have a 4 million population increase,
mm-hmm.
what are those 4 million people going to do for a living?
Yeah.
And we already have people out of jobs right now that are trying to find work, that are, just trying to make a living for themselves. It's going to boil down to an ugly, ugly situation. So, and they're trying to give more rights to illegals than, Americans have, frankly, right now. In Illinois the other day, a judge passed that illegals can carry firearms. How does that make sense? To buy a firearm, you have to do a full background check. You have to scan your ID. You have to prove that you're not, a felon, all that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pass a gun safety ownership thing.
Sure, like we do.
License. Yeah,
right.
It's a complicated process,
mm-hmm.
just like adoption. So, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just
it doesn't make sense
about following rules, and why are some people exempt from those rules?
Right, and why do we have to follow them but they don't?
Right.
So,
I think we need to wrap up. We've gone over our usual time, but it's been a really awesome conversation, and
mm-hmm.
it's a really important topic. And so we would like to ask you all to think about, how you feel about immigration, based on what we've said. Do some more research on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And then most importantly, or even more, equally important, it's all good. It's all equal. Register to vote for this next upcoming presidential election, which is happening in November.
And don't vote online.
Yeah, I would just go to get your register, and then you just go. They'll show your ID and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But it's important, and get going on the current topics and what's going on with the presidential race. It's really important.
And also, do your own research. Don't go to sites like Fox News or CNN where they just peddle people with bias against the other side.
Well, you can, but you could watch both.
You can watch both too, but do some independent journalism. Look it up for yourself.
Sure.
What really happened in Illinois?
Mm-hmm.
Look up the article and stuff. So,
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, get out there and vote because it's important.
Yes.
So.
All right. Well, we appreciate you all listening in, and hope we were able to
inform y'all.
Yeah, inform y'all and leave some impressions. And we will be back soon again.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Take care. See you
All right.
soon.
And remember,
You are not alone.